goes it? Mr. Blues, first man in. Welcome. Good evening, good evening. It's Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Hanging with the Bears, and I am Robear. What's up, everybody? Film Grain Studio, what's up? Fruitful, Justine, Dale, Potato, there's Wobbly, High Plains, welcome in, everybody. Leo, Kappa. Hope everybody's had a good weekend, been productive, got some stuff done. Deep Blue Sea, yo. Sweet. Well, tonight we have the legendary Wobbly hanging out. What's up, John Skadova? And this is her second time hanging. She did a stream with Callista a little while back, and just gonna hang out, see what she's got going on in her neck of the woods, see how everything's going with her. What's up, Flow Cow? What's up, Wood Shop? We're starting on time. All right, we won't have to start over tonight. Good evening, Flow Cow. Well, sweet. I'm gonna grab her and we'll get it popping. Hometown, what's up, man? Normal.
Awesome. Bear Trail. Hello, Wobbly.
Hello.
How goes it?
Can you hear me all right?
I can. Loud and clear.
Okay, I can't hear you.
You cannot hear me?
Oh, no, I can now. I just can't have headphones today because I'm using an iPad and they don't connect. So.
Gotcha. Awesome. How's your day going?
Yeah, good. Good day. What is it? Monday. So just been hanging out with Pure Joy Bear this morning. And yeah,
Nice.
now I'm here.
So it's Valentine's Day over there, right?
It is. Yes, Pure Joy Bear gave me chocolate, so that was nice.
Nice. Awesome. Well, congratulations for that. Well, sweet. I know you had a lot going on and stuff, so I just kind of wanted to hop right into it. I guess what's been happening since the last stream? Like, what all has been going on your way?
Oh, when was that? That was December or something, I think. Yeah, quite a lot. I lost my job because of the mandate. And then I've now lost... So I worked at a museum, just quickly, and I worked inside and I did, a lot of stuff in there. And they mandated all the staff, so I had to leave, but I was still painting murals on the front of the building. And they let me do that, though they have now decided that even that is unacceptable. So I have 2 weeks to do my last mural and then I'm out of there. So, yeah.
What's the game plan?
Well, there's a Turkish restaurant that I like, and my friends there have decided that I can paint their courtyard, even though I'm unvaccinated. So that'll be good. That'll be fun, a fun job, a cash job. And then after that, I don't actually have any plans, but I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. So
That's right.
Something always comes up.
So what's the mural you currently been doing, though?
So that's the front of the Technology Museum. So it's sort of painting heritage scenes from our city. And then the one I'm about to start is like more deco inspired. So 1920s technology. And because the whole museum was just, no one could tell what it was from the outside. It was called the Faraday Centre. So a lot of people just thought it was like a rehab centre or something. Mm. So we've been working to like rebrand it so people know what it is.
Gotcha. So, and you just got those spots by word of mouth, just people like, hey, why don't you do this? As far as the murals.
Well, that job I got because, I don't know, some of you might have seen I posted an old painting of some flowers that I did on a wall.
Yeah.
And she saw that and she was like, oh, you've got to come paint the museum. And so for 2 years I've been there painting murals inside the museum, quite elaborate, detailed ones. And then I got this job to do the outside. But I'm just too dangerous now. far too dangerous.
Reckless Wobbly with her no backs. What are you doing in the world right
Just
now?
No mask, you know.
The kids. Think of the kids. Come on now.
Yeah.
But so
I'm glad I lost my job though, because every day that I was watching really young kids come in wearing masks, and
right.
And now they're scanning vaccine passes as well. And I'm just so glad I'm not there doing it, because at no point in this whole thing have I participated in it at all. So
yeah,
I don't want to. So I'm quite happy to have lost my job, if it, you know, so I don't have to see that.
Right. So, and how did all the art stuff come about? You know, have you always just been creative and, you know, doodled and stuff, or how is that? And has that always been a part of your life, or has it just developed recently in the last couple of years?
No, it was primary school. One year I got a good teacher, and she saw that I could paint well, or you know, for a 5 or 7 year old. And so she would start hanging my paintings up in the room, and then my parents would start hanging them on the wall. And so from that age, I was like, I'm going to be an artist. And everyone's like, you can't be an artist. That's silly. And then I did go to uni to do film, but I only lasted 6 months, because it was all just writing essays and bollocks. And so I dropped out, and I just painted. And that's when I had all my health problems and stuff as well. So I just, to get by and to have something to do, because I stayed in the city, I just had to paint. And so I was in galleries, and then eventually I got into murals. So it was kind of my whole life, really.
So it's just always been a part of it. You just always like express yourself that way. That's awesome. So, and first of all, like, I really appreciate you doing my profile and stuff. Like, I'd reached out to her a while back. I was like, yo, I need a new profile. And she was like, yeah, I can figure it out. And it wasn't necessarily like it's something you're growing in, right? Like, you'd done the thing for you and MJ had created, and you've done some stuff, whatnot, but it's not, it was like not necessarily something you'd done a ton with, right?
Yeah, no, that's all kind of a bit new. But I just I'm still learning. I mean, I taught myself to do everything that I've painted, so it's just an ongoing process of learning. And one of the things I always do is do stuff that I don't necessarily have the skills for, because it forces me to learn it.
That's right. Yeah, and so what do you use your iPad for that stuff? Is that like your...
Yeah, now that I've got an iPad, I do a lot of my drawing on there, and design work is on there. It's great for the murals, because you can sort of set up the images on top of the wall and sort of get a good idea of what's working and what's not.
Right. Well, awesome. And I mean, you made a really good point, though, as far as the vaccine stuff and everything with work. Like, our attitude has to be something else is going to come, and you know it's going to. Like, it's, you know, there's some uncertainty with it or whatnot, but still, like, God's providing. You got the mural stuff lined up, and it's just kind of like a natural progression. You know, I did get a chance to read what you shared in the magazine, and shout out to everybody that's in the magazine, just across the board. Like, I was blown away. And you saw the marriage proposal.
Yeah, another one.
But like,
how many
everybody
is that now? 20?
You definitely got probably a baker's dozen in there. But so you know, like, just everybody that did articles and everything, and just the overall layout of it, everything, it's really impressive. Like, it just looks really good. Everybody put their heart into it and stuff. So, you know, I'm blown away by this community constantly, and it's just really cool to see. But the thing you and MJ worked on together is in there, and so kind of that was really cool to see. And it really is kind of where a lot of people are at, is like, you know, once you consume the information of there's a bunch of nonsense, it's like, what's next? You know, like what BB said the other day, and then it's like, build. You know, once you consume so much information, what are you doing with the information? If it's not leading you to like build out of the situation, then it's just a negative loop. You know, like, they still got you hooked. You just don't even realize it, right?
Well, that's why I thought Year of the Beautiful was perfect, because last year we overcame so much nonsense. We're obviously trying to put it behind us, And, you know, a few gay truckers are kind of getting in the way of that. But overall, you know, we've put it behind us and we're trying to build. And so I just thought there's so many beautiful things are going to happen this year because that's where everyone's focus is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you've kind of been on a journey the last, I don't know, few months, or I don't even know. Do you want to kind of go into that? However, you just want to break that down, just the process you've been in?
Yeah, well, I just, the end of the year was a bit rough. I was a bit sick, just probably from overindulging because I've had a bit of autoimmune sort of stuff. I can't just sort of eat junk and what everyone else eats. And so I was a bit sick from like the Christmas season and then I don't know, I just it was the first time I was like, I'm actually going to make some resolutions, and I decided I would stop looking at the news at all. Like I didn't watch the news, but I would look at the like headlines and stuff online, and sort of I'd tell myself it's to poke fun at it, but you know it affects you in all these ways you don't expect it to, because that's what it's designed to do, I suppose. So I did that, and I just decided I've come so far mentally, and I needed to get the body to catch up. Because I had watched a Pet Life podcast with Christopher Gardner, and it really triggered me because they were talking about being connected to your body and stuff like this. And I'm like, man, I don't feel connected to my body at all. Like it's there, but I don't feel it's part of me. So, yeah, I messaged him and I was like, that got me really emotional. I've really got to sort my shit out. So I've been doing that, and I found some raw milk, and I started that 3 or 4 weeks ago maybe, and that was a detox, and that was an intense detox. And but I've got this new attitude now, so it was fine because as painful as it was, you know, I'm on the ground fetal position, you know, it was so painful. And old me would have been like, oh, clearly I'm reacting terribly to raw milk. But I knew it wasn't that. I knew it was healing. So I was quite happy the whole time. But yeah, so I went through a detox, and I quit coffee, and then I quit alcohol. And now I'm doing a lot of exercise to build up muscle and yeah, just work on that part of myself. So that's been really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, even talking about watching a lot of that stuff, and you know, the last couple of days, it's kind of been something I've been realizing. I watched a video, some random video on Instagram where this girl was beating this other girl up, right? And they were this is in like a high school or something, and this girl beat the mess out of this other girl, like knocked her unconscious and just kept punching her. And no guys did anything. Like a man should have stood up and been like, what is going on here? Like, this is freaking savage behavior, right? But after I got done watching it, I was like, I mean, it was jarring. Like, this sugar just kept pounding on her head. It was like a world star situation for sure. But, you know, I like afterward, it hit me, and I was like, the whole point of any of this stuff is you're still consuming it. It's still desensitizing you. It's still demoralizing you, you know, because after watching that video, I was like, I don't know. It really made me feel just like, is that even real? You know what I mean? And yeah, somebody recorded it. Just sat there and recorded it instead of doing and the girl was beat unconscious, and they still pounded on her. And I feel like that's a perfect example of what they're doing to us, with whether it be the satanic ritual stuff or, you know, whatever else is, even the vaccine nonsense. It's just like, it's all fear porn. And you just got to completely detach from it, you know. And there's this, like, the other side of it where you think, well, I have to be informed. I have to know what they're doing. But I believe that if we just focus on what we need to do, focus on growing and building, that I believe there's a natural response that God prepares us to where we're always ahead of the curve. The enemy is never that smart or that fast. They're real slow and sluggish, like, you know, the killer in a horror movie, whatever. They only get you when you trip and fall or you make stupid decisions. So like when we're stoic, when we're intentional and stuff, and we're focused on the beautiful, the natural response is that all that other crap just falls to the side.
Yeah. But, yeah, totally. I mean, even though I was going in with I'm just looking for a laugh or just to see what's going on, it still gets to you. It still makes you think, oh, this whole thing's rubbish, and it's annoying. So blocking that out's been good, and I haven't even been tempted to look, because someone will pass on information to me anyway. Other people are all looking, and so I've found things about the convoy, or not the convoy, the protest here. Like I get that information given to me without looking, but it's much better because it's much less, and you just don't need to know what's going on all the time.
Right.
I've been able to focus on myself more, and it's been way better, because if you just see one article in the morning, it can ruin your whole day.
Mm-hmm.
Or throw you on this weird tangent that you didn't need to go on, So
yeah, for sure. So you said that there's a Pat Life podcast that really kind of set you on this trajectory. Do you think there was anything besides that, or was it kind of like an internal process as well?
Well, it was a long time coming, for sure. I mean, like that podcast definitely just triggered it. It just reminded me, the way they were talking about it, reminded me how just detached I was from that aspect of my life. And then I thought, I've come so far mentally. Finally, I'm not on these drugs that are altering my thoughts. I feel like I'm completely in control of that. And so, the body has to follow. I can't, And so everything I do now is just with purpose, and and then everything else just starts to get better around you, because you're focused on the right stuff,
Right. And that's another thing I've been thinking about is like the law of attraction and the power of agreement. Like those two things are constant and they're never ending, right? So you just said the power of agreement, you're agreeing what you're focusing on, and the law of attraction, you're drawing that to you. So you're focusing on the good, the beautiful, whatever, and it's just a natural reaping, sowing. It's all the same truth. You know what I mean? Like. Mm-hmm. So as you focus on, as you get your thought in line, your body is going to become in line, and then everything else is going to come in line as well. So
yeah, and attitude is a huge part of it. I just had to change my attitude. Like I'm obviously way past being a victim, but I would still have a bad attitude about some things, and I listen to a lot of Tom Barnett too, and he sort of talks about that a lot, and when something sort of bad happens or off what you were planning, like it's how you react to it that'll keep you going, and so I definitely feel more closer to this flow state where it's like, oh, this went wrong, but maybe it's because I need to go this way instead or something, it's
right.
So it's fine, it's not scary or sort of
just being okay with it, where you're at, not overanalyzing everything. And I'm gonna just take a second and acknowledge the chat. I'm trying to do a little bit better about this, but what's up, everybody? What's up, MJ, Moon Jazz, Buick? What's up, dude? You catching some fish? Zezzy, Longbow. Cool. Well, yeah. So what else? I mean, what else do you have going on? Like, what's next?
I don't really know.
You just know where you're at. You don't know where you're at.
I know where I'm at. And like I was sort of telling you yesterday, I've been really content with being here and where I'm at. I'm surrounded by family, and I thought, okay, I can live with this. But I feel like God has been sort of nudging me in a different direction lately, and sort of suggesting there's more. So that's exciting, and I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow there, and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all good. Like sometimes we don't know where we're headed. We just know where we can't stay, right? And like there's joy and there's fun in the process. But one thing you told me, like you got your passport locked in, right?
Yes, I got it just before.
Oh wow, it came today?
Yeah, came today.
That's wild. Awesome. Well, Operation Get Wobbly to the United States is officially in business.
Lots of pages. Yeah.
It's time to get on the road. Well,
never thought I'd get one of those again. Never thought never considered I'd ever get on a plane again. But, now I feel like I really want to.
That's exciting. Well, so how's everything going with your family? Like, how have they been handling all this?
Yeah, pretty good. Like my parents not vaxxed and they're against it, and my brother, some of you might have seen, he just had a baby because I shared a few of those photos, and he's cut us off now because we're in like red setting, which is like danger setting. So that's a shame, but hopefully that'll pass. And then my sister's been struggling because her husband's not onto it, whereas she is. Mm-hmm. But even in that, like, because they just mandated kids wearing masks at school. And so it was holidays, and we thought we don't want to send her kids back to school, you know. And her husband obviously wants them to go to school, so it was this big, like, we all felt pretty helpless there. But my sister wrote to the school and she just said, under no circumstances will my kids be wearing a mask. And so they're both in school not wearing a mask. My niece, who's 9, is the only one who's not in her class. And they're really happy about it. And you know what? I thought about it a lot, and I was just like, I'm so blessed that we got to spend the holidays together. They got to see grandma, auntie, grandpa, you know, mum, all maskless, you know, making fun of COVID and stuff like that. And so when they're now in that horrible environment, they're actually doing pretty good because we kind of break the spell. So
all it took was him saying no, right?
Yeah, all she had to do was write in and say no. And then she's technically not allowed on the school grounds because she's unvaxxed. And she just also said, and on the first day of school, I will be bringing my kids to class. I'm not, you know, waving from the gate. And the principal there's been really good because she's said that the kids aren't allowed to talk about COVID. The teachers aren't allowed to talk about COVID. So, you know, it looks kind of different in America where they're sort of talking about it and doing little assignments about it. But none of that here, though it is different every school. But we're just blessed that the school is being really chill. And and the kids come home and they're like, no one can breathe in class. And it's like, yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's the point. Yeah. And it's so jarring to the kids. They can't, I mean, like seeing people in masks, especially when everything first popped off, it bothered me. And so I know kids and how they respond, like, it's just, you know, something to scare them and confuse them and to traumatize them. But that's awesome. And I know you share a lot of the pictures of like your niece and stuff like that. And they're so precious, and it's just, you can just see the joy in them and stuff. And you know, I don't know, she kind of looks like a mini version of you as well, so it's kind of funny. Is she like a kindred spirit to you?
Yeah, they're really loved kids. I think they just arrived here now. Oh, they're there. Yeah, no, they're good. It's good. I've got to spend a lot of time with them. I lived with the 2 older ones when they were younger too. I've lost the chat, by the way, so I don't know how to get it back. Oh.
Sometimes if you touch it, it'll...
Have I gone now too?
Yeah, you're black now. I don't know what's going on. And she's gone. All right, well, hop back in when you can, Wobbly. What's up, everybody? Let's talk amongst ourselves for a minute. What's everybody talking about here? Setting the example. What's up, Birdie? What's up, Aqua? Scamdemic, what's up? What's up, Zezzy? Well, Wobbly, you still in here? I'll get her back. Someone get Gary.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. I think someone accused me of stealing a bike. Woodshop.
Something about a bike?
Yeah.
All right. You got the chat back now?
Yeah, it's working.
All right. Sweet. What's up, Self-Sufficient? Yeah, so that one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of something that's been in my head lately, is just like dads and the dynamic of relationships with dads and stuff. And, you know, like I've been thinking about it this week and stuff. My granddad, my dad's dad, he went to the Philippines when he was 17 years old. So he went to war. He never talked about it or anything, which made me pretty positive that he both saw a bunch of violence and probably killed somebody. But it made him very cold as a person. Like he would just had no compassion. He was just like very rigid, all the way up until his passing. And my dad always wanted his approval and his acceptance, and it was something that he always felt like he had to fight for, right? That he never knew where he sat with his father as far as their relationship and everything. And so when my granddad passed, he got real sick very shortly before he passed. He was in the hospital for several days. But on his deathbed, as he was literally dying, the process of the last couple of days before his death, he was talking to one of the nurses, and he pointed over to my dad and he said, "You see that man right there?" And my dad's like 45 years old at this point or something. He said, "That's my friend." And like if you look back in conversations I've had with my dad in the last like 15 years since that happened, that meant more to him than anything else his dad ever did in his life for him, right? Because it was validating him, it was acceptance, it showed he loved him or whatever. And like, because of that, my dad throughout my life always let me know that I was loved and acceptance. I never had to earn his acceptance. He was always there. He was really good about a lot of that stuff. And it really did mold me as a person. But, just how you never know, because like he shielded me from that. He broke that generational curse from, and it wasn't even something his dad intentionally did on purpose. He just experienced so much darkness at a young age. I think it left him in that state and traumatized him. But, just how we can break the generational curses and how you never know, like be grateful if you have a good dad. But even if you don't have a good dad, like, to have compassion from what they went through, because his dad wasn't terrible. He didn't beat him. He wasn't an alcoholic, any of this stuff. He just wasn't there emotionally for him. And, so you never know like what somebody's been through or what kind of is molding them. And of course we can all overcome it, but just like breaking that and really just add words of affirmation, letting your kids know you love them, letting you know that you're there for them and stuff, and how important that is, from a very early age. But just just imagine how little of a thing that was in the moment and stuff. But that meant the world to my dad, him saying that. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that as far as like your father or just like men?
Well, he very similar. His dad didn't talk about what he went through either, and wasn't there emotionally either. My dad was the sixth kid, and he was later, and they were over it at that point. And his dad, he doesn't know anything about his dad because his dad didn't share it. And so my dad's great, but he can be emotionally distant, especially when we were little.
Right.
But he never got, that kind of love from his dad. And
similar situation.
Yeah, similar situation. But he was always, you always knew he cared and was there for you. So you always had that, even though, you didn't get too much out of him.
Right.
But it's better now. But So, but I always knew he was there. And but as a kid, I just remember disappointing him was the scariest thing in the world, because that's suddenly you'd get nothing from him, and then you'd get like angry dad, and you'd be like, oh shit. But, he's a good man. He's just he just doesn't know how to deal with that kind of emotional stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though. I believe that's something that's definitely shifting is, the guys in the community, the fathers in the community and stuff, like just really being present, really, I can't even say just words of affirmation, and just knowing that you're there and it's okay to fail. You know what I mean? Like nobody has it together, and especially being a child and stuff, like your first experience is going to set the tone for how you perceive that, like possibly the rest of your life. So, I don't know. It's just something that I've been thinking about, because we live in such a world where there's so many homes without the fathers in them. And then there's so many, just absent fathers that are just disconnected and stuff. And, I really believe that's something that God's trying to adjust right now, is really, being present, being like really connected, and that, that love and acceptance is crucial. Like, It
It's
really does
beautiful
change
watching
things.
the bear fathers in the bear community, because they're just so involved and with their kids, and they just want the absolute very best for them. Whereas I know a lot of dads who think what their kids need is them to make a lot of money.
Right.
And that doesn't go so well. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You can't replace the time. You can't replace the things like, and that's, looking back, especially in my life, like I never cared about anything material. And like, growing up, we didn't have a whole lot. We like for a good bit of my childhood and stuff, only had one car and stuff like that. But I never felt like we were poor. And but it was like a perspective thing, and also I had everything I needed. Like I didn't have any game systems or whatever. We didn't have a TV until I was like 10 years old, just out of choice because my parents didn't want me to be raised by it. But like, at the time I felt like I was being, that I was missing out or whatever. But now I look back and I'm so grateful for that, because that, that made me love nature so much. And, I stayed outside, I stayed playing, whatever. So, like, I think not having a TV, especially those early years, I mean, it's crucial if you can do it.
Yeah, see, I would keep all that stuff away from my kids. I grew up, however, on TV from a young age till I went to university, and then sort of onward. But until then, I would watch anything and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was not good.
Well, I definitely lived I made up for it on the back end of my teen years, but I definitely lived a sheltered life to begin with. And then, of course, the rebellion set in, and then it was just, balls to the wall. But we'll learn the hard way sometime. Well, sweet. Let's see. I guess what else did you want to talk about as far as, I know. Did you want to mention any of the game plan for visiting the States or any of that, or?
No, not yet.
All right, this is fine. All right, cool. Well, yeah. So, I mean, what's some stuff you've been focusing on? Like, I know you're like developing the artwork on the iPad and stuff. What else are you trying to learn right now, or what are you like developing?
I do want to get away from the iPad, away from the screen. So I've got some paintings that I'm gonna start soon after I've done this mural, and sort of get back into that sort of studio, sort of working on my own thing. So, I'm lucky I've got that opportunity now, and
Right.
And sort of see where it goes. But yeah, I really don't have a very long-term plan past that, and maybe going overseas. Yeah, so
yeah, some
meeting,
paintings though.
Meeting some of you guys in person would be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe are you talking about like canvases, or have you been doing any of that?
I haven't done it for a long time. I've just been doing these murals, and they're quite time-consuming ones. So yeah, I haven't put the time aside for the paintings, but yeah, I want to.
That's awesome.
It'll be weird small. Yeah.
What's that?
It'll be weird painting small things and not giant walls. But the giant walls, it's fun, but it's hard work. It's really physically hard work, and but I wouldn't mind a break from it.
Joe sleuthing over here. Yeah, what's up, Joe? Well,
Hey, Joe.
What's the biggest mural you've done so far?
4 stories.
4 stories?
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
I don't know. They said, do you have any experience? And I lied and said yes, but I didn't. It was a giant library, city library. And it was a building that it was huge, but it had panel windows down the middle. So I was painting like around those, and they just gave me a super boom lift, which is one of the ones with the big arm. Gave me a 5-minute lesson on that, and off I went. And it was crazy, because I almost smashed the windows a whole lot of times, and I crushed an air conditioning unit at one point, but no one found out. So yeah, it was crazy. But that was the biggest. Yeah, that was hard work. It took me 2 weeks to recover from that. Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. 4 stories. They're sleuthing real hard right now. I mean, just start dropping names, everybody, and if you say it, maybe she'll wink twice.
What are you talking about?
They're down the rabbit hole now on who the
I
who
didn't
the
even
suitor
say
is.
anything.
That's fair. That's fine. You guys got any questions for her? What's up, Satoshi? What's up, guys? Horseman. Well, sweet. Well, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Like,
Can't remember. I did write a thing, but I think I've talked about a lot.
I think so.
Eh.
No lamp stunt.
Does the guy have a nice name? What guy? What guy are you talking about?
Woodshop said he's gonna riot if you don't drop the name, but well,
I'm not dropping
okay,
the name. I'm not dropping the name.
Here's
So
something
this is
I've thought
Joe's
about.
fault. Okay.
No names. All right, got we tried. That was really the whole objective of the stream, was to figure out who Wobbly's pursuing. No, it really wasn't. Well, sweet. No, I mean, one thing I've thought about this week, and so the dynamic of my work, I work with a team of like 10, 11 guys with the shift that I was currently on, and it was literally nothing but men. And there wasn't any women at all, right? And so for the first 4 months, it was nothing but guys. And then we had like a couple people added into the team, and it was 2 women that were included. And so since then, the conversations opened up. You know, it's like literally it felt like a pissing contest before there was women in the equation. And since women are in the equation, it's like leveled out the balance. And I just thought about that, you know, even with the, you know, the speakeasy chat and stuff, you know, it's a back and forth. Like sometimes it can get weird or out of hand when women are just being weird. But like, I do think, you know, it gets, the weird dick energy gets like over the top very quickly when it's just all men, or it gets real gay real quick too. And like, I don't know. It's just, even if you have just a splash of feminine energy, it just levels things out and keeps people grounded. It ain't even got to be where there's like a dynamic or romance or any of that. Just the energy balance, you know?
Yeah.
So man, I don't know, that was funny. Something I thought about.
That was so funny when we got banned from the chat. Was that last week? Or almost. Yeah. And then he was like, maybe the woman can just go to unauthorized. And I was like, no.
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoy a lot of you guys, you, KO, Copper, and Zezzy. Yeah. I mean, there's probably a couple of dozen I could really come off the top of my head with, but, you know, there's the Lady Bears are definitely super intelligent. They've always got something to add to the equation, and several of you guys are hysterical as well, so.
Yeah, but some of the guys can be just as bad.
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, sometimes it's just hard to tell if it is a guy or a girl at all, actually. But
I've definitely got jammed up calling a lady bear bro or dude a couple of times. In specific, there was a bear named Love Bear like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I could have sworn it was a guy. There was no clear indication, but all I know is she's no longer a part of the community, and I'm pretty sure she got on the speakeasy chat drunk one day just talking nonsense.
All right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, well, was there anything else you wanted? You said you wrote some stuff down.
Yeah, I think I sort of mentioned all of it. I would suggest no one try quit coffee, because that is really horrible. So.
Quitting coffee? Did you quit?
Yeah. I don't even know why. I just did, and it was horrible. And I was thinking if the coffee supply chain ever ran out, that's when, you know, thousands of people would definitely die, because everyone would have angry headaches and kill each other, I think. Yeah. I had to just start sniffing coffee beans to get through the day. It was the only way.
Sniffing coffee beans?
Yeah.
Just to hold you over. Zezzy said, tell us about your story in the magazine.
I don't remember what I wrote exactly, because I sort of do, but I haven't read it since I wrote it. What was it? Well, it was about how comedy, basically comedy turning to crap is what sort of broke the spell in me, because I loved comedy. I lived for it, watching those shows from America. Who was the main one I watched? That John Oliver dude, because I'm a sucker for an accent like that. But they all just started telling the same jokes, and it got political, and I was very not political. And then I don't know, it just something snapped in my head, and I was like, something's not right. This whole thing is going wrong. And that's when I ran out of the city and came home and started like looking into it and figuring it out, and that's how I found Owen. And then I was like, oh sweet, I can laugh again. These people are funny, like not just him but everyone in the chat was really funny. So yeah,
I mean, that's the whole thing, is levity like is a release valve to where we can face some of the nonsense, or even if we're not even trying to pay attention to it, it's a release valve to where we can, without that, it ends up becoming just tense, and, then there's just an explosion of frustration. And so, like, you have to keep things in perspective. And that's the thing that drew me to Owen and the Bears in general, was the authenticity and the humor and, just the sense of camaraderie in general. Like just looking back, especially at like the YouTube days and stuff, I just remember a lot of the bot swarms or whatever it may be. And at the time it was like fun and adventure and, just whatever. But now it's so amazing how well the chat is and how little nonsense. Like there's only a couple of times where I see like a comment or somebody that pops in where I'm just like, you probably ain't been around very long, or you must be going through something,
Yeah.
So, I mean, and just the humor in general. What's some of your like favorite or the funny things over the years that's really stuck out to you?
What, in the Bears?
In the Bears.
Oh gosh, lots of it. I think the latest one that had me in hysterics was Keanu Reeves. Even my mum was getting into that one. She loved it. But I remember really enjoying all the songs we'd write, because the early days of the chat was a bit of a writer's room, and we would just, create these songs. But I do recall one moment, because, I think I mentioned in the article, I was watching at some weird hours of the morning. He said, what should I sing about? And I just wrote Jews. And he went on like this 2-hour Jew thing, and I was like, oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's some great moments for sure for me. I mean, looking back, the Gary the duck that died raping, that was hysterical. They found like murdered in the wading pool, and then the Instagram, the Grabler football, when he was writing for the what was it? Was it the You're Doing Great Kid tour? That was some of my favorite time. Like those Instagram streams of just brainstorming stuff, like some of the funniest stuff ever, and just the camaraderie and just the flow in general. It was just looking back, that was such a great time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Go ahead.
I also really enjoyed doing that meme competition and just making all those memes using everyone's cartoons and stuff. That was a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Didn't you win that meme competition?
I did.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. The meme queen. Yeah. So, have you still been making some stuff? Or are you still kind of, where's your head at with the memes? Or are you more just
not really? Like I started doing the Joe Rogan ones and just photoshopping him on midgets. So my search history was just funny midgets for a good few years there. and I actually ran out of midget stock, to be honest. So but then you don't need to make fun of him anymore. That it's like that's over now. He's a joke on his own. So and then I just haven't made that many for for the last while, but they just don't come to me, or someone does it quicker than me, you know. So.
Yeah. There's so many people in the community that are so talented when it comes to memes or just coming up with the ideas. It's so funny. Even like Bowler makes these very primitive memes, but most of these jokers make me laugh so hard. Like, I swear.
Yeah, they're hilarious. I'm just like, man, I just want to Photoshop that a little bit more. Can't handle it.
I think he's got the one where he just cuts out the head and then he's just rolling with it. So.
Yeah, it just makes a circle of the head. I'm like, no.
But for some reason, that in some ways, though, that makes it even better to me because it's so primitive, you know, like, just absolutely hilarious. And you really tell the value of like the humor with the dialogue of whatever he says.
Yeah, the joke's funny. I was always obsessed with making it look as legitimate as possible. Like, so it actually looked like Joe Rogan was a fat midget, you know, but yeah. So it wasn't always a joke in it. It was just like, or putting him on a monkey. I remember, finding, what's his name, Kung Fu Bear, because he was photoshopping the toe as well. And I was like, oh, yeah, we think exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, so you said your sister is like seeing through all of it, right? She's pretty much
she's waking up hard. She's currently watching the Super Bowl with her husband at the moment for Valentine's Day. Nice. But we joke that she's going to watch the sacrifice ritual or whatever. But she's seen through it. He's not. He thinks she's gone mad. So, that's just, it's going to take some time.
Right.
But it's been good. I've been able to talk to her about sort of God with her as well, which has been quite good because she's sort of seen it as the spiritual thing. So it's opened that up for her as well, it's good. It's just it's just that rabbit hole stage where you kind of dig too far into some nonsense, and that other stage where you also can't understand why other people can't see it. That's what she's going through. So, but she told me the other day, she's like, we all thought you were crazy. And I was like, yeah, I know. I know. And that's why I shut up and I've moved on. And I said, you're just going through that stage now. And aren't you lucky that I can sort of guide you? Because, I didn't have anyone. I just had all my family being like, Christy's crazy. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it seems like everybody's got at least one, if not like 3 or 5 family members that are either pretty aware now or they're starting to be like, all right, it doesn't add up. And so it's just so cool to see people waking up and them going from like, you're insane, the earth's not flat, to, so what do you think about this? And just being kind of there and really even, and there's something I've learned from a lot of mistakes and stuff the last 2 years where I was like a little more forceful and was like, woke raping people or whatever, to now it's like, I don't bring it up unless you want to talk about it. And then if you want to talk about it, if you ask my opinion, I'll share with it. Otherwise, I'm more engaging you to see if you can come to your own conclusions. Like I'm not even necessarily going to voice my opinion. I'm going to say, well, what do you think about this? Or why is this way?
Emotions. Yeah. See, I don't bring it up with people anymore. I was going over to a group of friends the other night. They're a bit older than me. And they've woken up thanks to COVID to a lot of stuff, definitely about the vaccine and stuff. And, we've been making fun of this trucker thing and sort of comparing it to Woodstock and stuff. And so I'm going to tell them about all the things we've come to learn about it. And my friend walks up and he's just come back from our protest and he's having a break and he comes up and he's like, it's just like Woodstock. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You remember how Woodstock ended?
I didn't say anything. I let them sort of tell me all about it, and they're having a great time. And he went back, and everyone's having a good time. But it's just I realized like they don't want that bubble burst right now because they just had like everything else just burst for them. So let them have their Woodstock.
They just want to feel like they're doing something. You know, I'm helping. I'm making some kind of impact because they perceived to be so oppressed for so long with all this, like the last 2 years. So anything to them feels like they're making an impact, even if they're just spinning their tires. And, you know, just like Owen said this last night during the stream and stuff, but it's like an actual free man, like that looks completely different than somebody like, you know, screaming and honking horns and stuff. Like a free man's actually knows he's free and he's going to be about his business. He's not going to be about somebody else's business and doing somebody else's bidding, you know? And, you know, like he was talking about Tom Barnett, how Tom Barnett's like, none of that's going to do what you want it to do. And like, you know, so
I've
it's
been
like
listening to Tom's streams as well, and he's saying exactly that, and that's how I'm living now. And I did try and tell them, I'm like, you know, I'm already free, so I'm already doing the thing. I know they're really passionate about saving all the children, and I'm like, okay, I get it. And then a few in my group are trying to think of a political solution with forming a new party, and I get that too. That's, I mean, we're going to have a government, so it might as well be some better people. But yeah, I feel like, because I went to the first few protests with them more for the escape, to just go to another city and, you know, have a fun day. But I've no interest in being part of this one. Not that I'm against it completely. Like, our one's nothing like the one in Canada. But it's actually quite amusing. They're planting trees on Parliament lawn. They're digging trenches. They've put hay down so none of them get muddy. I mean, it's
a proper protest.
I'd love to see an aerial shot of it. But, yeah, it's, you know. So I didn't, want to burst their bubble or anything. And, no, I get they're all doing it for good reasons. They just don't. Yeah. I did get to tell them about Betaria a bit and sort of explaining how we connect and the local supply chains and what the whole point of it is. But because they know it comes from Owen, they don't know who Owen is, but they know there's like this figure at the head of it. They still sort of think it's some sort of cult. So it's like, oh, well, he doesn't. I mean, I'm like, I mentioned him, but then I'm like, but it all comes down to us living separately but connecting, so we have a community and can share our skills and projects. It's like, and they all kind of agreed with that and liked that, but yeah, so I could talk to them. And the other thing I did that night was I told them about terrain theory, and they were all completely open to it.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, that's never happened before.
Right, yeah.
It completely makes sense to them, and I'm like, okay, this is different. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that people are, that I think that's the one of the major shifts as well right now is just people are open to hear a different thought. And like me and somebody the other day were talking, and they were saying how their brother listens to Joe Rogan and stuff, but their brother's like, I don't like everything Joe Rogan has to say. Like, I can listen to what he has. Like, he has interesting guests, you know, and it's not so much like there's this kind of mindset. I don't know if people realize they're doing it or whatever, but where it's like absolutes, where, you know, if you like somebody, you have to like everything they do, or, you know, that you're completely behind everything or whatever. No, like I can appreciate literally one thing about a person and like nothing else about it. Or, you know what I mean? Like, to try to find where's the value at, or, you know, you don't have to just embrace everything and you can just take it at face value. And I think that's something, it's coming back, just like you said with them. Maybe they wasn't open to it a couple of months ago or whatever, but people are starting to say, all right, just, you know, what am I missing by being so rigid? People are just so boxed themselves into these mindsets. Oh, I'm right. Oh, I'm left. Oh, whatever it is, whatever your mindset is. And instead of just being like, is this information in front of me valuable? Yes. If not, no, let it go. And it doesn't mean you have to receive everything else that comes after that.
Yeah. No, it's been great, this group of people. And like I said, they're maybe, they're in their late 40s, 50s. But everything. I've labelled most of the gravy except Flat Earth to them because they openly mocked that. But, you know, the 5G, and not that I believe in saying that is that or anything, but I'll suggest things, and they're so open, and I just didn't have anyone else in my life that was open to hearing that stuff. So,
Right.
so there's something about these people where they're just like, oh yeah, like not put off by new ideas and stuff. Maybe one day I'll drop Flat Earth and then just see what happens, but
See where it goes. I mean, hey, it's just one of those things. Eventually people are going to have to face some of these things, and, you know, they'll either accept it, like work through the pain, or they'll just continue to believe we're spinning in chaos and that nothing is on purpose.
yeah.
I mean, either way, you
distance
know.
myself from all the friends that are just so closed off to anything that's not the current mainstream thing, because it's too. I mean, what do you talk about? They're not open to anything, and yeah, it's really frustrating. I'm glad I found this other group of friends. It's just because I was going a bit mad.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Do you have any bears in the area that you're connected to, or do you know of any?
There's one bear who lives here, about 10 minutes away. He's got an 11-year-old daughter and some older sons, and yeah, he's crushing. Yeah, he's got a huge garden. He's turned his life around. He's doing great stuff. Yeah, so
That's awesome.
And he's got a Brown's gas machine, so I've had to go on one of those.
Did you want to give him a shout out?
Oh, his name is what's his fucking bear name? I don't know why it's just gone out of my head. This is terrible.
It's all good.
But he's the guy I drew into that meme, the Truther meme.
Okay.
Simmer Bear. Shout out to Simmer.
Summer Bear?
Simmer.
Nice.
Like Simmer the gravy.
Simmer. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Legend. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, so you said go ahead.
No, yeah.
Well, I was just that you said your sister's kind of been on like a spiritual awakening path, though. Like, how's that been going, or like what happened with that?
Well, she's trying to. Yeah, she wants to come back to it, and she gets it, and she believes it. But her husband is an anti. He's completely anti. So it's not something she can. Yeah. I can't imagine what that's like. So she can only talk about it with me and my parents, really. And but at least she's talking about it.
Yeah. And, I mean, it shows where your heart's at.
Yeah. So, you know, that's been really great to be able to help her through that.
That's awesome. And did you want to talk about any of your process with any of that, or kind of where you're at with any of it?
Well, I've just been coming back to my faith for a while now, and I'm it's I feel like I'm there. It's been great having the Bible Gravy group and getting to know a bit more about the Bible, because I haven't read a whole lot of it, and it's been a great journey, and I feel really connected to it now. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the thing, I know yesterday when you told me, you were like, I don't have any whispers or anything, and just how that supernatural piece of just like being locked in.
Well, yeah, I said the only whisper I have is, why do I not have any whispers anymore?
Yeah.
Where are the whispers? Like, what's wrong with me? I'm not having whispers. Yeah. Because I'm not really, and it is weird. But
it's refreshing, ain't it?
It can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, sweet. We've been going like an hour. You guys got any questions for her? We definitely can talk for a little while longer. Anything else you wanted to hit on? Trying to think. Let's see. Oh, yeah. By the way, this is episode 336. I do not think I said that earlier, so we will say it at an hour in mark. Better late than never. PTSD from Stan, Longbow says. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I think that is something like you can keep it in check, but it's like when things start going too good or whatever, it's like you expect something to go wrong or things to fall apart or anything, right? And I do believe there is some truth to being aware and like keeping your senses open to seeing if something's off or if we're like being deceived or like tricking ourselves or whatever. But I do believe there is like a piece and a level of like when you're really locked in, then you're in the zone and a lot of these things just fall off. Like it's just the protection of God from just being that tapped into what he's trying to do.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, I spent all my life thinking the worst was going to happen, and then if something good happened, then it must also be going to fall apart. So to be above that now and not feeling that way and feeling like God is actively like showing me things now, and yeah, it's really good.
That's awesome. Well, what all do you think you've learned from 2021?
Just to focus more on the beautiful. Just like honestly, just don't look back at the rest of it burning and move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
And just to be in myself more, and I'm free and live with purpose. Yeah.
That's it. Hey, that's good right there. What's up, Titty? I mean, so I was talking to my boss the other day, and he was asking me some stuff and whatnot, and he was like, "What do you think you've learned from this year?" And I like take a personal inventory pretty regularly and whatnot, but I'm not. A lot of times I ask people these questions, but I don't really ask myself some of it, And I think the thing that I learned from this past year more than anything was to listen more and to listen to other people, to, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I'm like really working on. I think these streams have even helped me with it is just, once you get out of yourself, like what's somebody else's experience? What's their perspective? And like, that's one of the beautiful things about the streams and everything is it gives people an opportunity to be heard and feel understood.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the hanging with bears has been awesome. And all the streams this week was just so awesome. And I get a lot out of all of them. Hearing everyone's individual story, it just feeds into your own. And, yeah. Teddy bear.
It's probably got Demarcus on his
Andrew
knee right
J
now.
wanted me to say aluminium again.
Aluminum. What other
Is that
word
how
was it?
you say it? Aluminum.
Aluminum. Yeah, I'm butchering the English language. Yeah, I'm not the go-to on that. I speak fluent in Ebonics and mumbling. So
aluminium.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
Aluminum. Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything? I mean, this is your stream. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever. We don't have to end it. No pressure, any of that.
Oh, no, it's all right. Just apologies to Summer Bear for not getting his name straight away. Yeah. And, yeah, I don't know. If anyone's got any questions, that's cool. But I think I've said everything I was going to say. Except what everyone wants to hear.
Any shout outs, any tokens of appreciation, recognition, anything anybody been doing that sticks out to you as far as the community, Big Bear, any of that stuff?
His streams have been amazing lately. There's just so many of you are all crushing so hard. And then there's Woodshop who just crushes even harder. So no, you're all legends, and it's just so awesome to watch it all. So that's it. You've asked that question already.
What's that?
Is it Burn Bear? No.
Oh yeah, no, it's not Burn.
I want someone toilet trained.
So, did you finish the 4-story mural?
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
That was one of the first. That was one of the first ones you did. Is that right?
The 4-story one.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't one of the first ones. It was
Okay.
somewhere in the middle. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
And
What?
Do you import kangaroo meat?
I don't. Do people eat Probably, yes. The fancy restaurants have kangaroo meat.
Do they?
Still think a lot of you need to figure out the difference between Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, I think there's some disconnect there. But okay, with the name Wobbly, that's actually something I meant to ask you as well. Where did you get the name Wobbly at? I'm always fascinated where people get their name.
Well, my art style was really blobby, like especially this 4-story building. It's like colourful blobs. So my art was all sort of an abstraction of blobs and colours. And a friend at the time called me Wobbly Blobs. So that kind of stuck because I went with that theme for a while. So I called myself Wobbly Blobs. And then when I sort of gave up on that, trying to have this big art career and became a bear, I was just like, I'll just call myself Wobbly Bear. So that is why.
That is why. The more you know. The origin of Wobbly Bear.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Any other questions? What you guys got? Hit us with some funny questions.
Someone wants Tim Tam. Wait, can you bring Tim Tams? You like Tim Tams? I suppose so. Yep. I'll bring some Tim Tams.
What is a Tim Tam?
It's a biscuit. Which means something over there, doesn't it? It's like a sweet chocolate biscuit. Yeah. There was a wobbly
back in the day.
I was not donating that kind of money. That wasn't me. I would.
So you only
Did I go to art college? No, I didn't. I'm self-taught. Yeah.
Self-taught from grade school on. And so, have you done anything as far as the design stuff or any of that? Like, I mean, I know, and shout out, like, seriously, you crushed the mirror stuff. Like, you were really on that. I know there's several of you guys that stay on that, and appreciate everyone that does that. But you guys, I mean, especially with how many times your channels get nuked and all that, like, it's really impressive how dedicated you are.
Yeah, it's almost every week. So, yeah, just keep going.
Gotta keep it moving. That's right. As he said, talk about your style that you're doing right now.
It's just kind of looser, more sketchy style, and the themes have changed. Like when I was doing the blobby stuff, it was all psychedelic and random, and now it's just like the next painting I'm doing is a bunch of beautiful flowers. So, yeah, it's just and I don't know where I'll go from there. I'll just have to see what happens. Yeah.
Just kind of feeling it out as you go. Yeah, the channel was it unclipped?
Unclipped, yeah, because I don't have time to make clips as much as I'd like to. And I do see every stream, and I could sit there writing notes about when to clip, but I don't, because I'm usually like in bed just woken up. So I can't be bothered with clips, to be honest. So yeah, I just thought unclipped. This is where you get the unclipped.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you guys have seen the stream from yesterday, but it was really incredible. Like I really enjoyed last night's stream.
Yeah. That's up on the Clips channel, the Unclipped channel. Yeah. That AI stuff was hilarious.
It's crazy.
I did Owen and Boomers, and it had this really hilarious story. Maybe I'll post it in my stories after this. It was just It did have some pretty funny stuff.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, just the letters and just everything last night was really. And I mean, it's like you said though, the streams lately. It feels like Owen's taking us to school on some of this stuff. Especially the psychological warfare, the economic warfare, all that. And some of this stuff he's already taught or whatever, we may have an understanding, but he's like really going into the inner workings of it to where, you really understand it on a deeper level. And I mean, I feel like a lot of us it's kind of like a training thing where we're able to see a lot of the nonsense just as clearly, whether it be the truckers or whatever, where it's just like, we're not going to bite at these, most of these psychops are so simple and retarded now. You're like, you just have to have a little bit of discernment to really see through it. Like they're so clunky and stuff.
Yeah, they're very clunky. And I mean, it's endlessly funny. It really is the age of hilarious. It's all just so funny to me now. It's fantastic. But yeah, and I love the letters. The letters are so good. I mean, you hear these bears that have sort of never interacted with us on here and stuff, where we all sort of hang out, and their life stories are so cool. Well, their stories since becoming a bear. I just love it. There's so many of them out there.
And there's so many people that are finding Owen right now through TikTok or whatever it may be. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of people that are hungry for information or hungry for the truth. Like, they're tired of being lied to. And it's just like, don't just show them the ugly. Like, the ugly is so fully on display right now. Show them the beautiful. And they like, a lot of these people, they don't even need to know the nonsense. Like, they just need to know what matters. Like, if you build, the other stuff won't even have a power over you anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I have friends. I have a couple of friends that live in Alabama that like sharing weird truth or stuff, and I'm just like, I don't even say anything back because I'll be like, that's cool, but I mean, I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, what does it do? What does it change? What can you do about it? And what is it doing to you?
I'm trying to get that through to my sister because she's looking at all that stuff, and she'll send it to me, and she'll sort of always be on her phone. Like, it's made her really addicted to her phone. I'm just like, what's it matter? Like, the general truth now. You know what you've got to do. So focus on that. But you get really sucked into these new theories, and it's not good. But it's so addictive, right? Like, anything but actually focusing on your life is easier, So the bears are actually doing the hard thing of, like, investing the time and putting in the work, and
I feel like they need to make a new shirt, and the shirt is "What now?" and on the back is a dude like planting in a garden or something. I don't know. I have T-shirt ideas like every other day or whatever, and some of them I think are worth it, and some of them I just think it's funny to throw the idea out. But what now is powerful rhetoric. It's like, I don't want any more problems unless you ain't got a solution to follow it. Like, for real.
Yeah. It's just like one rabbit hole thing after another. It's not going to get you anywhere. You'll never know what's the point. And so that's why. So great, and that's why maybe I'll show her the Betari Times app, because that's just a perfect example of not having any of that in your world, and what can come from leaving it behind.
Yeah, I mean, and that is the move. Just the app, you just present that to somebody, show it to them. Like, that's everything you need. Community, you've got all the resources. You literally find anything and everything you could possibly need. If it isn't within your like driving distance, then you can get it mailed to you. There's a wealth of information. There's people that want to help you. Like, most of the time, they won't even ask to be paid. That you may barter something for different things, but in general, I've never met so many enthusiastic people just to better somebody without any condition, just wanting to see people grow. And like Copper just said, gift subscriptions. Like, if you guys know of somebody that's interested or whatever, and I don't know how. Does anybody know how to gift a subscription? I'm not the person. I'm telling y'all, I'll boom all the way out of here. But does anybody know how to do that? If you do, comment in the chat. Do you know it all?
Idea. It's and then making her go on it will be another thing. But I should do that because it's so cheap. It's so cheap and it's so awesome.
Mhm. For sure. Well, sweet. I've enjoyed it. We've been going about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Anybody got any other questions? Any final thoughts? Anything?
Is the chat frozen or is everyone?
I think everybody's mesmerized by the conversation.
The app was starting to...
Yeah, Longbow said his brother's was a starting point for his brother to become a bear. So and from what I understand, his brother's like really getting it now too, like
that's
enthusiastic and stuff. So yeah, that's awesome.
And it was good to show my mum too, who sort of has known I've been in this bear thing for so long, but just to see what it really is. Yeah. So
awesome. Well, I really appreciated everybody hanging out.
Yeah, I actually should. The kids are here, so I should go and hang out with them.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the art, all that stuff. I feel like you've got your perspective where it needs to be. Everything else will fall in line. So, I'm really, and I know everybody's curious to who this mystery bear is. So, we'll be happy to hear when the proposal hits or whatever.
You guys will figure it out. You're not stupid.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed it. Wobbly, you're absolutely crushing. I'm very grateful you're a part of this community and everything you do, both behind the scenes and just being a part of the Hanging with the Bears. You're always active in the chat and stuff. So really enjoy the energy. Yeah, thanks so much. It was great talking to you. Thank you. All right, you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you. I don't know. I think Finks and Psychic Pony Tuesday. All right, catch you guys later. Catch you later. Bye.